This Korean Life.
Welcome back to another episode of This Korean Life, number 129, featuring the president of the Busan Gyeongnam chapter of KOTESOL, Gabriella and KC, the VP and Communications Director. Welcome to the studio. We got you here on a Saturday. That's nice. Usually we're recording Sunday mornings.
Ooh.
But
For church.
With
Pastor Dan.
Nice.
Thank you so much for having us here. We're honored to be here. It's a privilege, and so far we've been having fun.
Yes, very excited.
I've been in Korea maybe 18 years, and I've heard of this KOTESOL. I know you guys put on big events, I guess, symposiums. Yeah, you guys have lots of people in the community. Can you give the listeners just a general description of what KOTESOL? God damn it! What KOTESOL is? We'll get there. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Give us a general description what the organization's all about.
Sure. So KOTESOL is a professional development organization. Mm-hmm. It's been around since 1992. It started as two different organizations that ended up merging. One was focused on Korean, international teachers in Korea, and then another one was more just sort of a teaching organization, and then they merged and became KOTESOL in 1992. And basically, the goal is to offer professional development and support for teachers in Korea and around. We also have a real international presence as well. We work with Japan, Vietnam, and
Philippines, Taiwan.
Yeah, so we have a really wonderful organization within Korea, but also internationally. And basically, we offer workshops, social events. We offer a place for teachers to work out ideas that they want to, methodologies and skills they want to develop, as well as a place to network and meet people. A lot of our people join who are Hagwon teachers who want to move into university, and so it's a really great place to meet people and connect and build a resume. So a lot of people come to us for that.
Cool.
And then when they're in, we also just offer a place to vent and explore. We have social events that take us around the country, as well as, again, these conferences, international conferences, national conferences, regional. So we're kind of a one-stop shop.
Nice.
For teachers in Korea.
That's interesting. Coming here, I didn't have any education, I wasn't educated in education. Yeah.
Those days you could come with your middle school degree.
Yeah. I mean, I had a psychology undergrad, no education, but no education in education, I guess.
Just in case immigration stuff there.
Yeah. I'll edit that part out. But after completing my master's, I found your organization more appealing, and I thought, like, ooh, this is a place where like-minded people can come and kind of discuss ideas.
But I have to say that that's one of the things that we're trying to get out this year is it's not just for people with masters. We're really trying to get Hagwon teachers and other teachers to get in early on the ground floor and then build up. So we're trying to let people know that you don't have to have a higher secondary degree to participate, but it's a really great place to build your skills. And
I wish I knew more about it in my earlier days. That would have been a great asset to building my career and skills in the class.
It's something that we want to make sure that people understand, that even if you're here for a year or two, you can still take part. And because I think quite a few of us came here thinking, we're going to be here for a year and then we're going to leave. 5 years later, we're still here. So this is a great opportunity to maybe find out if this is the career for you, or if you have been in Korea for a while, that there is more to it.
Yeah. Sure, I agree. And
you say you would have been interested earlier on, but I'm not quite sure.
Easy.
We had a lot going on in those days. Unless your workshops were at 4 a.m. at Simbach Rotary and including Soju, we probably wouldn't have made it.
I would have that workshop.
And I think that's the thing, when you come for a year, that's the last thing on your mind.
Right.
Is I'm free, I'm out of my town, my city, my village, my country. I'm going to explore weekends here, weekends there, and I'll get into that later. And now we're 20 years on, and we're still not into it yet, or this particular organization, but other things. So I think you just keep kicking that can down the road, and maybe you guys can talk about it later, maybe when we get in for membership and stuff, but how you address attracting people, because it's catching those guys in the beginning that are just later. I got festivals and people to meet and stuff to do, and it's hard to commit to that probably in your first year or 2 years.
And we understand that. That's why we have social events as well, because we do want people to realize, have fun in Korea, be responsible, grow, but have fun. And that's why we also ask people to join, because they can also input into what we do.
Yes.
They can say, oh, we would like to see this, or I'm eager to find out how to do this, and we'll find a speaker.
Yes.
Or they can present for us. So it's if as long as you're taking part, we can cater to you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Can you maybe just walk it back a little bit and tell us a little bit about the history of the organization? From 92, what do we got, 25, 30 something years. You mentioned two groups amalgamating to make one.
Yes.
But the growth of the organization, how many teachers there used to be, how many there are now, or members, or how big the national conference, or is that a recent event, or?
Yeah.
The
So
national
maybe
conference.
just how it's kind of progressed over the years?
I don't have hard figures as far as the numbers, but how it's grown over the years. I think that they were kind of small, kind of insular groups, and so they had these two groups, and then they realized that their goals were overlapping, right? So then they got together, and then they sort of started. I think it was very Korea focused in the beginning,
Right.
and then they realized once they got together that there was a larger market. There's a need to branch out and bring in the other countries, the other people, and so that's when the international conferences were born. But as far as the growth, it started pretty small, and even now I think it's the oldest teaching organization in Korea. But it's not. I would say that it's what I like about it, and what is kind of one of those kind of I want to say bittersweet, or is that it's still not as big as you would think, considering the power that it has. It's a very strong organization, but it's not a huge organization. Each chapter is about, the Seoul chapter, of course, is the biggest, most active. But each chapter, like our chapter, is about 20, 25 people. And so the chapters are kind of small, again. And
Is that members, or is that like staff?
Members.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the power from the organization comes from just, it's very, what do you call it? Grassroots is what I'm looking for. Very grassroots. Each chapter does kind of its own thing, and then with the satellites for the national and Seoul, right? And so that's where the power comes from. So again, it's not a massive, huge organization, but we do a lot within each chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
The international stuff, was that born from here? Do you know, or is there? I assume there's TESOL groups or English teacher groups or whatever in most countries that have ESL teachers. But is that a specific like trademark now?
So I'll add to this. TESOL is a global organization, and then each country has their own group. So our one is KOTESOL. Japan is JOLT. So, and then within the country, it is divided by province. So let's say TESOL is the global one. Then we narrow it down to country, so our one is KOTESOL, and then within the country it is divided by chapters that are represented by the province. So we have Seoul, Busan, that's how it's divided. And then that chapter answers to KOTESOL, yet is independent enough to create its own events. So that's what we do. So when it comes to national conferences, that's when the whole of Korea, all the chapters get together. International, that's when the different TESOL countries get together to host conferences. And then obviously we have closer alliances with Japan. We have a group that we started, KOTESOL started, called PAC, and it involves Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, Far Eastern Russia, and the Philippines. And when it comes to their conferences, then we have priority. We have people, for example, when we have our international conferences, people or representatives from these organizations have free access to our conferences. They can present, we host them, and vice versa. They'll do the same. Now, people outside of this group of PAC, we also have alliances and partnerships with them. And we also have certain perks. So for example, if you want, one of the perks of being a member is you get to represent KOTESOL abroad to these conferences, and you get a stipend, a travel stipend, and the organization, depending on our relationship and our agreements, they'll pay for accommodation. You get to go to the conference for free, and you get to mingle and represent KOTESOL, which is great for networking, for expanding worldviews, and also meeting like-minded people maybe in your field. So when it comes to our events, this is a small part of it. If being a member actually opens the doors to so many things and so many opportunities. At our conferences and our international, national and international, you can present. And this goes towards your CV, and also you get to publish. We have a few publications. We have quarterly and yearly. Quarterly we have a magazine called The English Connection, and then our journal that is peer reviewed, not blind, but is still peer reviewed, comes out every year. So all of this is actually a great stepping stone to go even further within your teaching career.
Yeah. When you you said like each chapter has their own ability to study whatever. When you make you mentioned you guys have a special connection with what, Philippines, Eastern
Philippines,
Russia,
Japan, Eastern
Thailand.
Russia, Thailand.
When you make those groups, do you have one specific goal, like, and then you guys focus on one thing, or is that just bringing people together and?
Oh yeah, it's very different. Like each, it depends on what you want to do that year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we've created a new program, which we'll talk about a little later. But yeah, each organization, it's not even just, sometimes it's yearly theme, sometimes it's monthly. It just depends. Each one that does.
That's what I was looking for. Is there a theme when you make those super groups?
Yes.
What do you call it, a pack?
This one is called PAC.
Yeah.
And
I mean, is it made for a specific purpose, or it's just let's get together?
just get together, whatever you're doing.
Gotcha.
And for example, the KOTESOL is actually so big that we have committees. So each chapter focuses on their own events, but we have an international reach committee. We also have our international conference committee, and then they take care of that. So the 2025 KOTESOL International Conference is called Embracing Humanity in the Age of AI.
Oh, okay.
Most of it.
There we go. We were there. AI.
I can 8 to 10 words.
You just have to put them together.
Yeah.
We got a lot of puzzles around here, you know.
It's part of teaching. And so that was decided by the chair of that year.
Okay.
And then that's where everything is built from.
Cool.
Is there any oversight? I have here TESOL International Association, and their website's TESOL.org. I'm assuming that is the TESOL.
That's the global one, yes.
And do they have any oversight over if I was in Mozambique and wanted to start Mozambique TESOL club, whatever? Is there any? Do you have to apply to this organization to say, hey, we want to start this, or is that only to become an official branch of the TESOL network, or?
It starts with you creating it and then showing that there's a demand.
Yes. So we are an exclusive affiliate of TESOL International.
So you got to prove, prove
So
that
you say
got
this is what we
some-
got. We want some resources. We want some support.
And
Give us
here's-
some funding. We're promoting.
Yeah. Here
we're
are our
promoting
numbers.
TESOL and
There's an interest. Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
very cool.
And it's not forever. You have to keep proving that you're actually contributing.
It's like
We have a constitution and bylaws. It's all very.
Any idea how long all that takes to set up?
Oh, I don't.
That one, our president is actually writing a book at the moment to help people create.
Oh,
I'm just wondering what the start to the.
Are you thinking of creating your own one?
No, I'm just, if someone's out there
Mugadon.
wondering, listening, whatever, there's people all over, but I don't know.
So I think the first step is create it yourself. It's
Your
not
own
TESOL or anything.
chapter.
Create your own group. Show that there is a demand. Show that you are creating events that benefit the community and society. And then once you've proven that, then you can reach out to TESOL.
So don't we have a new chapter in Incheon?
Oh, but this is TESOL in general, not KOTESOL.
Okay.
I think
'cause we have-
I got a little bit of experience doing international student council groups, or starting or trying to start. One got kiboshed after Corona, or during Corona, because you couldn't meet and have meetings.
Yeah.
And I just think the transient nature of a lot of teachers kind of detracts from the ability to have that foundation that you would need necessary. I guess here there's enough people that have been here long enough to keep it going as others come and go. But for some of those student council groups, I mean, even at the university, there's none. They're not
Yeah.
represented. They should be. There's funding available for them, but right now it all goes to the Korean Student Association, where at UNIST, this international student organization is very strong, and they have elections every year, and they have the Constitution, and I helped with that as well. But I wish we could make it easier to do that here, but it's, by the time you get through all the stuff, the guys graduating, changing universities, and there's nobody that's there to sustain it over time. So I was just curious, if it's 6 months from the thought to seeing it through, or 2 years, or...
It does take a long time, and
Yeah.
we are very grateful that the people who are in charge of KOTESOL have been here for a really long
Yeah.
time. So our president, even the person in charge of all our publications, they've been here since the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so not Lindsay.
60s?
So no,
How
not
that guy's
Lindsay, I'm
120?
afraid. They've been here for a long time. Nay,
Since the 60s? Holy
they
man.
came with the American Peace Corps.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is how,
Yeah.
how long, and they're still active, and this is why the
That's
organization
wild.
keeps going, because they're people who know the trajectory,
Right.
they know their stuff, and they're willing to do it. Now, some organizations, like you said, students are here for 4 years, and then they leave. It takes a lot longer to keep that, and you need to, once you hand it over, you need to find passionate people, or just as passionate as you.
And that's not, I mean, we think about it for everything. Now the soccer team, my hockey team, we hope if we were to leave, that there just isn't anyone to hand it over to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So we have great,
The institutionalists,
Yeah.
people who are there from the, willing to
It's-
keep
we
it
have
going.
great veterans of KOTESOL
Yeah.
who do this, and
Lifers.
also are very, like, if I have a question, I just reach out to them. They know it.
Yeah.
Oh,
They can
that's awesome.
help. They know exactly what to do.
That's good.
And this is why we've been able to grow. This is why I was able to get this position, because I had people who encouraged me and who were like, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's great for you.
That's awesome.
And this is what KOTESOL is. We offer opportunities, but our members, or the people thinking of joining, they have to do that. They have to walk through the door and take charge
Yeah.
and take care of those opportunities.
how long have you guys been involved?
I've been VP 3 years. I jumped in right from
Before that, you didn't start as a minion or something?
Nope.
Straight into VP?
I lucked out because it was right at the end of COVID, and everybody was sort of coming back to life, and the membership, our leadership was kind of fallow, like we needed
Yeah.
people, and I was just like gung ho. I got
Boom.
ideas. I went, and the past president and VP, I just reached out to them. And I said, hey, I'm interested in the organization. What can you tell me about it? They're like, let's have a meeting.
Want to be the president?
Yeah,
No,
right.
just the VP, that's okay.
I was like, well, can I, check it out? But, I showed them my resume. I showed them my background in starting organizations and doing things. And, and they're like, let's talk about it. And they, yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And honestly, what's funny, one of the things I encourage people when they're considering is that, at first I was like, VP, but what's beautiful about our chapter anyway is that it's very much a what you put in, you get out, right? And you can sit quietly and kind of watch everything go by, or you can jump in with both feet, and it's really rewarding if you really put yourself in. So at first I was like, I can't be VP, that's crazy, right? But I was sort of encouraged and emboldened, like, okay, you guys have this faith in me. We've talked. I'm gonna do it, and it's been
Just a
fantastic.
couple, hi ting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
That's good.
And you?
So I joined in 2024. I was a member for 3 months, and then I went to an event. Before that, I joined because of Rhea.
Uh-huh.
So our
you know Rhea.
previous co-worker, and she recommended it, she encouraged it. Then she put me in touch with Annika, who was the previous BG president, and so I was a member for 3 months. I went to one of their events, I spoke to Annika, asked that I told her that I wanted to be more involved, and she was like, we're looking for a secretary, are you interested? So I sent her my CV, it went through Lindsay, so the KOTESOL president. She approved it, and then I started being active. And the wonderful thing about KC and Annika, they were very welcoming to me doing things. At first, I was like, I don't want to overstep, so I was a bit cautious, but the more I kept doing, the more they're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So I was like,
She's really good at
okay.
what she does, so we were like, oh.
Nice.
I was like,
Yeah,
I'll
we
just
lucked
keep
out.
going.
Yeah.
And then we had the opportunity to do a symposium, different events, social and academic. And then this year, 2024, Annika left and I was voted in.
Nice.
And here we are.
Nice. You're in the big time now.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
this episode.
So it is possible to progress very quickly,
Yeah, well, one
depending how much you want to put into it.
Wait.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people are sort of put off by the idea of leadership, and so they hang back, and so it's kind of not difficult, but not as easy as we would like to get membership or leadership rather. And so when we see somebody that steps up, and it's like, because honestly, the titles are the titles, right? It can be.
Casey!
No, but I'm being honest, right? We have made them. You have put in so much work and made president. You and Annika, I think, because Annika, I think, was a really good president too. But you gave it its heft. A lot of times, some of these titles are just titles, right? And so, like VP at first, it felt like kind of just, oh, we're gonna call you VP. But I've made it something, right? Show up, do the work, and so so sometimes it's hard to get leadership, and so, but when you have the leadership, you feel a little more obligated than just a member, and so you work a little harder, I think, and so they're not too, I don't know, too precious about the titles.
Yeah, it's not Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was gonna say, when you look at the website, I mean, it's very, very, very structured.
I think national is
And
much more.
The titles, when I kick on Gyeongsang or wherever it is, Daegu, Busan, whatever, and it's like, holy shit, man! Like these guys got a lot of. They might need a doge in here to clean some of this up.
Reckon
But there's a lot. You know, there's a lot of titles.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Like, can you, if you're president, vice president, can you say like, okay, we can handle all this stuff and we don't need these other 5 titles? We just need contributors, or
I think it brings more legitimacy
Yeah,
to the.
it goes back to that phrase, like, it takes a village. So it takes a
But-
village to get this done. Because if you're organizing an event to go to a pizza place, you don't need a lot of people. Like, you just need to put it on Facebook, you're good, go. But if you're putting on a symposium, you need a lot of brain power and also physical power. And if you have people who are committed, who have the same vision as you, and they just take care of publication, they take care of program, is a lot smoother. It also gives you a chance to really learn the craft, because you bounce off ideas and then they grow. If you have people who are committed to doing something well, you feel proud of what you do and you bounce off that energy. So that's where you need that amount of people. You also need guidance. When I started with presidency, I had a lot of questions, but I didn't feel scared, or I wasn't worried or overwhelmed, because I knew I could reach out to somebody and they could give me answers.
yeah, I'm not questioning the work. I just from what we do, I know it's immense amounts of work,
Yeah.
and lots of it's very thankless work. But I mean, in terms of like the titles and the structuring, is it? Like you said, like there's a lot of, some people have title, but there's nothing really there. There's no substance to it. So are they just labels to make?
But it empowers too, like you said.
Yeah,
once you,
because I think
So
with the title, I think gives people more impetus to step up, right? So for myself, I'm the VP. I'm here for her, right? I am her backup. Like when she goes on vacation, I step up, or if she needs more help with something, I step up, or she has questions, right? But I noticed that I was doing a lot of the social media posting. I write the newsletter. I sort of dusted off the newsletter. It had gone, somebody years ago was doing it, and they just, either they left or whatever, it stopped.
Right.
And I'm a writer, and so I was like, you know what? I want to start the newsletter again. So I took that on myself, and I started noticing, oh, I'm doing all the social media, I'm doing the newsletter. And then I asked Annika, she was outgoing, and then I knew that Gabriella was probably going to be the new president. So I was like, I would like a new title. And I asked to be made communications director.
Beautiful.
So we created that title. And so it's a way of getting skin in the game.
I like that. I'm all for that.
Yeah, so.
And if not, would you say, hey, I'm a little overwhelmed here. I got a lot going on this semester. Can we make a new title for someone else to do the communication stuff?
Yeah.
So I think this is where the president takes over, you have to see how people are doing. If you see people are burning out, because we're all volunteers, no one's getting paid for this.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed or being used. So if I see it, I'm like, we need to delegate. This is not right. If somebody's taking over, somebody's not stepping up. So let's help in that sense. Also with Casey, when she was doing all this work, thank you, that's great, you're doing a great job. It's great, but if we can thank her in a different way, which is give her a title that she can put on her CV, and that way she can use it, we're more than happy to do that.
Sure. Or with the podcast, or we hope there's a million different things that we got to do. And I've never even thought about, like, you do all the social media, but you're communications director.
Yeah.
No, but
He doesn't like the title.
So I was going to say, part of it for us, and part of, you know, looking at businesses, starting a business, this, that, these things, volunteering, is part of my, what do the kids call it, MBTI?
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys in leadership roles find that, I just think we can do everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we need helpers. We do, but they don't match they don't think the same way we do. So
Right.
it's just more frustrating and more problems, and you got to do it again. So I think whatever we do, we don't need any titles below us. Just we'll do everything, and everybody else is a contributor and a helper.
Yeah.
But
I think the benefit of identifying, like, you know, I'm doing social media, I'm the commit. Then if you have to delegate, that's an easy way to kind of identify the different roles that you're currently holding
Absolutely.
and spread them over.
Plus, remember, our organization is about growth.
Yeah.
So it's not only about my growth; it's
Yeah.
about all
Yeah.
our members' growth. In membership or leadership. So yes, we can definitely take over and do it. We'll be a little bit stressed, but like you said, our standards will at least be met. But that's not why we're here. We're here to help people grow. So if I see that you're in leadership with me, but you're not quite there, I will encourage you. I'll give you the work. And then even if you come back with work that is not up to my standard or what I had envisioned, that's still okay because you tried, and then I'll give you feedback or I'll help you do it. I'll show you, okay, so this is what I had in mind. How can we bring that together? How can we bridge that?
And you were gonna do that. You were gonna do it anyways. So yeah.
Well,
I got to work on that.
Yeah, right.
Says the
I got to work on that.
We have a member who really wanted to do something, right? To be more hands-on and more involved. And she started out doing one thing, and then she kind of was like, "Oh, this isn't for me." But we noticed that she was really good at finding locations, right? And so we wanted to keep her, but she was sort of starting to back away. She was like, "I don't." What we gave her initially, or what she thought she wanted to do initially, was not a good fit.
Location specialist.
Yeah, exactly. And so we created a title for her, and she loves it.
Logistics,
and now,
whatever.
Yeah,
Nickname
it's like,
maps.
so now because she knows Busan really well, and she has a lot of connections in the city.
Yeah.
So now she finds meeting places for us, and it took all that pressure off, and then she loves it.
Yeah.
And so now she's our location, and she has the title, looks great on her resume, and now she feels she has skin in the game, so she participates more.
I think the quality of a good leader too is identifying the strengths
Yeah.
of the people
Yes.
underneath you and giving them those jobs that relate to them.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So this actually leads. I don't want to jump ahead.
No,
but
go.
So
Go for it.
last year, we were talking about our membership and what's going on with the group, and again, we're still kind of recovering from COVID and getting people back in, and we just did, like, what was it? Last year was the first in-person international conference, right? So we're still slowly getting back on our feet, and so we were talking about the challenges of membership retention, getting people in, and then how to get people motivated once they're part of it, right? And how you mentioned about people leaving, right? And our contracts and stuff. So I started thinking about what can we do to show the value of the organization, get people in, get people to stay, and get people active. So I came up with this program called the Dual Purpose Initiative. So we started kicking it around last year, and it launched this year. And it's a 2-track program. So one track is for long-term expats who live here, who are happy, they have no plans to leave, but feel their jobs are not fulfilling, right? So maybe you're in the university and you're not gonna get tenure, you're not gonna, right? Or you're in a Hagwon or some other job that's just it's kind of, I don't like the term dead end, but it just feels like it's not going to
It's okay,
go.
dead end.
All right, dead end.
It's not progressing
Yeah, it's
anywhere.
not progressing as it would in your home country, right? So one track addresses those people. So we're creating workshops and presentations and events that show them how to have more fulfilling careers and social lives in Korea as a long-term resident, right? So like I work at my university, I created an English conversation and cocktails event. So every semester, my students come. We found a great bar right across the street from the university. It's an hour-and-a-half event. We provide food. They're responsible for their own soda or cocktail or whatever. And they just get to practice their English in a social, relaxed environment. We went from 10 students to 70 students our last Christmas party. It was
So that's a KOTESOL Busan only event?
No. It's not through KOTESOL. What it is our tracks for DPI is creating ways for our members to enhance their work life. So it's giving them ideas that they can take back. So it's not our sponsored event. It's the teacher's responsibility within their community at the school to create the event. So we're giving them ideas and workshops, whether it's how to get your master's degree online and what would you do with it after, and how would that enrich your life in Korea staying here, right? The second track is for people who are moving back home, right? So a lot of people join KOTESOL and then they're like, okay, I've been here 2 years, I've been here 5 years, I'm ready to go back home. Why should I stay in KOTESOL, or what am I going to take from KOTESOL back?
Right.
So we're creating workshops and events and presentations to build those skills. How do you find opportunities back home? How do you network back home? So we're creating those workshops to help build those skills. And so that's a reason to join our organization and stay in our organization, because we're meeting the needs of people who still stay here and also helping people transition
That's
out.
great. Do you have any people who have gone back to their home countries and still support?
Yes. So
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few.
Yeah.
There tend to be people that used to be in leadership and they've gone back home and they contribute via the international conference, so they come and present
cool.
for us, or even like small chapters. In June, we have somebody who was here for 60 plus years, aged out. So at 65, he got told that was it. He had to leave. And now he works in Europe, but he still wants to contribute to
Awesome.
KOTESOL.
Yeah.
So he's actually one of our speakers, and he's going to talk about that transition. So I think once you see the benefits, you just want to keep going.
Yeah.
I think just from talking to people or being around it and going through the literature or the whatever online, that there is a tight kind of knit group. I don't know if it's exclusive to only the people who are in the upper positions or not, but there is a bit of loyalty and kind of the alumni seems to stick together and support each other.
Absolutely, because we share. We share events. So, this month we actually have one Connections Day where all members, leadership and non-leadership, can get together, talk about what's going on with KOTESOL, give ideas. We also have workshops. So we connect. Every single time you go to a conference, national or international, you meet. And then within the chapter, whenever we have events, we talk to other chapters. Like, would you like to present for us? So KC actually went to...
I never say it right. Jeonju.
Jeonju and
Jeonju.
presented for
There's
them.
Gwonju, Jeonju, Jeonju.
John, Jim, and Jerry.
I know, exactly. And I always mix them up.
She went to the West Side and she presented for them, and
It's
then
fantastic. Yeah.
at the symposium we asked somebody from that chapter to come and present for
Sure.
us. In June we actually have Lindsay, our KOTESOL president, coming to our chapter to present, and so this creates that network that you want, connections. They see you in a professional setting, so it's not just, oh, I know you socially. I know you professionally to some degree,
Yep.
because if you create an event that is inspiring and is well organized, they see that and they'll think, okay, you can be my reference in the future, or I can refer you. Or when you do want to go and represent KOTESOL abroad, when you apply, because you do have to apply, they know you. They're like, yeah, this will be a great representative. So this is why networking within KOTESOL is so great.
And we have a really wonderful national reputation. I know for a fact that being the VP of the chapter helped me get my university job. My university is my first university job. I was in Hack once before. And when I did the interview, it was on my CV and we were talking about it, and my current boss was like, oh yeah, I know some people in KOTESOL, and so we were talking about it, and he was like, oh yeah, it's great, it's a great organization, and I know, because I had teaching university experience back in New York, but not here, and it was a barrier.
Sure.
But getting that interview with my school, he was like, noted that it was KOTESOL that helped me land.
Flash a secret card.
and I haven't told you, my boss, who's thinking about joining our chapter, and who's also presenting, my boss is presenting in our launch for the DPI. He suggested me becoming the KOTESOL liaison for our university.
Oh, yeah.
And actually being a part of our recreation committee. So
Nice.
yeah,
Cool.
so
Great.
it's got a really fantastic reputation.
Yeah.
What did you call it?
Say again?
Dual.
Oh, it's called Dual Purpose Initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that nationally, or is
No,
that
I just made it up. I
that's just
created
for
it.
here?
It's just for our chapter.
Are
Yeah.
you going to promote it or
Oh yeah.
nationally?
Yes. I'm going to present at the international conference, and I'm going to be launching DPI there as well.
It's a good framework.
And is that
for people who don't, whatever. If you're going home, if you're staying
track
there,
one,
that's a
track
good.
two, yeah.
And that's what we wanted.
is that getting away a little bit from the core kind of mission or whatever of the organization? Giving people heads ups on what's happening back home, or what to do once they get home, or how they can integrate back home. I think it's an awesome one to bring people in, because like you say, it's probably not that easy. But in terms of the overall national mission of KOTESOL, how does it fit into that? Because it's kind of about branching out, right?
Oh,
It
no,
depends.
great.
If you see KOTESOL as just nuclear and just staying within, then yes. But the whole point of KOTESOL is to help people grow. There is no agenda. They don't want people to stay here forever and just stay with KOTESOL. They want you to go and then promote KOTESOL abroad. Like these skills that I have, how did you gain them? Oh, because of KOTESOL. I spent some time in Korea, and that's what I did. Because people will come and go. We don't want to keep them here.
So there's not really a limit as to where you can reach out into and put your tentacles nationally.
Yeah.
Whether that's a bowling league or this or that or whatever,
As long as it's teaching.
Yeah, as long as you're teaching.
as long as there's teachers in it.
Teachers so for example, if you wanted to bowl, that's absolutely fine, as long as you have events that have growth
Your
in them.
bowling would come under track 1 of DPI. Because what you would do
Lane one.
is that you would get your students, say, hey, who likes to bowl? We're going to do a bowling Saturday afternoon. We're going to practice our English and have fun and go bowling.
Yeah.
And then that brings fulfillment as a teacher. Now my social life, my teaching life are richer, right? It's not like I'm just in this dead-end job, nothing's happening. Now you're engaging your students and you're engaging yourself. So that's track 1. So yeah, so we would totally go bowling.
Cool.
Yes.
How do you guard against not necessarily safety, but protocol or anything else? Like if you said the university, if I wanted to do one and made the English and cocktail event or whatever, who's responsible for that?
So far we haven't had any. The admin is aware of. We haven't signed anything. Because generally it's adults, so we're off campus, and so the university gives their approval, but it's also kind of like we are.
So
not,
you would ask for approval in the university to
yeah.
promote this
Yes.
at the beginning of your classes
Exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah. So it's signed off. They're
Right.
They've given their blessing, but they're also kind of not like responsible because they're like it's off campus.
Right.
So if we were on campus doing it, we would have to get waivers.
And it's not an official KOTESOL event.
No.
So they're not responsible either.
Yes. No. I use it as an example because this is something I created for myself.
Right.
When I first started at the university, I was like, what can I do to keep myself interested as well as help my department? And then later I was like, oh, this is a great example. When I started thinking about DPI, that's when I connected it, but they're separate.
So what
This
we
is probably
do,
like a Danny Kessler program. It's a lot of like what he does, that kind of stuff all the time.
so for us, it's just teacher training. What you do with it afterwards
Yes.
is your responsibility.
Yes.
So we give you ideas, we tell you how to implement it, but after that is up to you, because we're not babysitting. We're not doing any, like we said, we're adults. So we'll show you the way, and then you take it from there.
We'll give you the tools. You build the
Yeah,
build
and you
the,
go
build
for
the
it.
house. Yeah.
And then, for example, if you wanted to create something within the organization that moves away somewhat away from teaching, we have SIGs. So those are special interest
SIGs?
groups. Special interest groups.
Yeah, that's Siggies.
Yeah, you're
Those are cigarettes.
That's it,
That's
yeah.
Siggies.
You guys call them something else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Smoke this and let's talk about what you got on your mind.
Exactly.
Special interest groups, and then that's where you create. So, for example, we have a reading club,
Yeah.
and then you have that
Environment club.
environment,
Gender equality club.
exactly, and
Within
then,
the organization.
within,
Yes.
and then they create events that are more
Not strictly tied to education. and
to
teaching.
education to.
And those need approval from the higher
Oh
ups.
yes, in
Sure,
order to,
okay.
in order to open one.
And those are like just social clubs, or
yeah.
Yeah.
Do those get promoted on the website? Or
Yes.
Oh, they do.
so that's just
Absolutely.
like-minded people getting together, and it's not about KOTESOL, but we're all part of KOTESOL,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, and then you also have the chance to promote your SIG at the international and national conference, and then
and
present.
then smoke it.
Menthol,
You got it.
extra
You're
long.
not part of this, mate. You're out.
Oh.
I think this
He's
was the
amusing himself.
This was the
He's like,
highlight of
yeah.
the podcast.
What's
Yeah.
what steps would you have to take if I wanted to start a SIG?
Light a cig?
Yeah, if I wanted to light a SIG.
SIG, to start at SIG.
Yeah, if I wanted to spark up a little SIG, what? That's a good one. That
There you
works,
go.
doesn't it?
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right, so
I was gonna make a smoke a bowl earlier, but anyways.
why did I introduce this?
Yeah.
But what are the steps? How would you get something approved? Do you need like a?
Yeah, so there is a process. So you actually have to fill out a form and get signatures from people. So first of all, you have to be a member of KOTESOL,
Okay.
and then you need to get signatures from members of KOTESOL saying that they would like to join the SIG. And basically you explain what it is, what you're going to do, what events you're going to do, and then you actually have to get someone from a senior position backing you up.
Okay.
And then when we have leadership conferences, we present it and people have to vote for it.
Cool.
So they vote it in.
Okay.
And then once you have the majority, then you can take off. So there's still somewhat of a process
Good.
to get there.
You can't just fire. Are you guys hot? Don't want to turn off the floor
Yeah,
heat.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Very
I'm
good.
actually cold.
Okay, I'll leave it on.
Going back to the do-it-yourself.
SIG.
Like,
No, no,
or
no.
DPI?
The DPs.
You got the DTs and the DPs?
No, just talking about members. Can you give us a general breakdown of the demographics of who are the members of KOTESOL in general, whether it's Gyeongsang-namdo or nationally? Is it older people, younger people, predominantly Western people?
Okay, we'll
Well,
start
we have
with
25% of our membership enrollment is Korean.
Nationally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 25% is Korean, and the rest is, from all over. What we're proud about with our chapter is that we think we have the most women and the most minorities in our chapter. So we're very diverse.
Nice.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of DEI over in our section.
Nice.
So for at least for our chapter, those are the numbers that I have.
Cool.
So our membership consists of two things. You can join for a year, or you can join for life.
That's when you get the
Does that-
tattoo.
That's it.
Does that
Those are
like
the extremes.
you get the small tattoo or the big tattoo?
Yeah, exactly. Your face or your arm.
Exactly.
Forehead,
And that's,
please.
that's the life. So we actually
So
have
maybe,
members.
maybe tell us how you have to
Okay.
get. You just
So-
pay a one-time $10 fee or $1,000.
If it's 50.
It's 50 a year, but it's
Yeah.
like 500 for
Around
a lifetime.
yeah, for a lifetime. So we actually have members who have left Korea because of that reason. They've paid for life, and so we have people from all over. And our organisation, compared to other TESOLs abroad, other TESOLs abroad tend to have people that are non-native speakers who form these groups. However, we are actually one of the few in Korea, the only one in Korea, that is actually native speakers that have created this group. And we do have associations, or we have partnerships with other teaching groups, English teaching groups, who are Korean. So their whole membership is Korean. So that's why our membership has such a, I would say, a low membership from Koreans, and it's mainly Westerners.
You mean in Gyeongsanamdo?
No, the whole of Korea.
The whole of Korea.
So we have other organizations. I'll mention Kate, for example. They're more Koreans, and their events are maybe catered towards Korean English teachers.
Okay.
So KOTESOL's, you said 25% Korean?
Yes.
75% other countries. Any mix or different segments of the demographics of each of those?
Are they from the 7 teaching countries
Yeah,
mostly?
they tend
Mostly?
to be, but we also have even in leadership, we have non-native speakers.
Cool.
And then you'll find that it differs in chapters. For example, for one of the reasons is for the international conference, in order to present, you have to be a member of KOTESOL. So we do have international presenters who have to join KOTESOL, and they tend to join Seoul because that's the city that they know. So if you go and look at Seoul's membership, you'll find a lot of international people, but that's the main reason.
Just probably more diverse too. A lot more people up there. Yeah.
And by age, is there you guys said 25 in your chapter? 25 members in your chapter?
Yeah.
What about nationally? Do you know how roughly? Or?
No, over 1,000, I would
Over
say.
1,000?
Yeah, and then again, it's not a reflection of the members because you have people who just join for the international conference.
Right.
So, but for example, when we do have connections days or some events or national, you do find that that's when you meet your members, and I would say over 1,000.
Wow.
Cool. What is the process of joining?
Very
How do you,
simple.
if someone's listening and wants to sign up, what do you do?
If you haven't deterred them.
Yeah, you gotta smoke.
Is that we got bowls, joints, DJs?
At
We're
this
laughing.
point, I
We got the
actually
DJs.
I do think that Nate is thinking of creating his own group. He's like, so how do you create this?
Dan's going to be the president.
He's already
JT will be the vice president.
he's already part of the Canadian mafia.
Canadian mafia.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. So on
Canada.
So you go to kotesol.org.
Change the C, KO to C.
Do you get a discount if you put TKL in there?
It's KOTESOL.
Yeah, she starts to sound like cartel. So to join, you just go to kotesol.org. You go to membership and you just enter your details. You choose the membership that you want,
And the chapter.
yearly or
Annual, or lifetime.
lifetime, and then you choose the chapter. You tend to choose the one that is your province,
Closer, sure.
and that's it. That's basically
very
it. They
easy.
don't vet you or anything.
I was going to say, there's no
No.
submitting.
No,
what
not
you've
for
done,
For
members.
you, yes. You need 3 references.
Hair sample.
Criminal record.
Yeah.
And what are the initial benefits, or what can you expect as a new member? Like a call from the president, hi, welcome to our group? Or, I mean, if someone joined Gyeongsanamdo, would you call them and welcome them and say, if you're interested in anything, let me know? Or
We do
how does
send-
it?
We get the newsletters.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, on our Facebook group, when somebody joins, we do a welcome
Chuka,
to
yeah.
the group shout out.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty informal.
Yes, so KOTESOL actually takes care of that.
Yeah.
We don't take care of membership.
Yeah.
So the KOTESOL membership committee takes care of that, and they send an email telling them, welcome, and then the benefits. So when it comes to the benefits of being a member, you get to go to all the events. With us, you get the newsletter, you get to present as well. You also get a discount to go to the international conference and the national conference. You get to represent KOTESOL abroad. Furthermore, you get a chance to publish with the new the English Connection
which is a big
and the
deal.
journal, and you also have a chance to ask for grants. So KOTESOL actually has a grants committee, and if you're thinking of doing research, you get that, and you can publish with KOTESOL.
Yeah, and publishing is a big deal for lots of reasons, but especially if you're trying to get into university or different things. When I first started, that's one of the things I was really into because I'm a writer. So that was my big thing. Is like I want to publish academically, and so that's where I sort of entered into the group, and it's really great. I've done it. We have a KOTESOL journal, which is the more professional. Like she said, it's not a blind
It's peer reviewed, but not
but
blind.
yeah. And so that's great. And then English Connection is a little bit more open, but it still has to have research based. And there are really great opportunities for publishing, and it just looks
And
really
especially if you're just starting out now, like if you want to get into that academic route, but you're not sure, you haven't got the experience, this is a great way, because our editors are really friendly, they'll guide you, but they're not
Red
overwhelming.
markers.
Exactly, like, what are you talking? So Nate is not taking part in that.
And also,
rubbish.
One of the other things that's great is that if you participate in some way, you get a certificate.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So it's really great. So whether you volunteer or you present, you also get a certificate, which actually it sounds kind of, I don't know if it sounds weird, but it's useful.
Yeah.
It really is
It holds
useful.
weight.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a few different things. One, regarding the certificate, a lot of people here, when they move here, there's not a lot of opportunity to engage in meaningful ways how they want. It's hard to build your resume. You have to go out and find it, make it, and do it. And if you're not that motivated, which most people are not, then you don't do it. You see on Facebook all the time, anyone know where I can play badminton? No, start a club. I was hoping to join a club.
Right.
Anyone know is there a writers club here? Nope, start one.
Right.
So getting the certificate, getting anything on your resume here other than just a Hagwon, which doesn't hold a lot of water, or as you said before, references. If your reference is a Hagwon director, I mean, and you're going back home, getting a call here 2 a.m, there's a good chance it doesn't work out.
Right.
And you just end up asking a senior in the community or somebody else if they can kind of fake be a reference. So having solid professional references is great. Even character references from a reputable organization.
Yeah, and I was just telling Gabriella, we have a young lady who came to one of our events over the last summer, and then we did a dinner after, and we were talking, and she's like, she works at Hagwon, and she's like, I really want to get into the university, and she wasn't a member, all right, and so I was like, well, this is a great organization to join for these reasons, but even if you don't join and you need help or you have questions, text me. And late last year, she contacted me, and so I've been helping her with her resume.
Nice.
And then she joined one of our member meetings this year, right? And so we take the time. It's not just about joining us. We let people come 3 times without being a member to check out, events, see if it fits for them, see if it works, and then after that, we really heavily encourage, it's time to join.
Get the tattoo.
But even if you
Not the face one, just the arm one.
exactly, but we really try to be useful and helpful, and it's not just about joining the organization, but if you do join the organization, we're there. We help. It's not just like, oh, we got your membership, good luck to
See you later.
It's like
Yeah.
we're very hands-on and available to our members.
So I think if you're like the majority of the foreign teachers here and you're not willing to start your own thing and organize it and go through all the hassles of trying to book and everything else, that's probably the best place you can be.
Yeah, because it's already there for you. It's already,
And it's not going anywhere, and it's established, and it has a reputation. And I coach hockey. He just started a soccer team for our kids. We have the NGO, and I mean, these things require massive amounts of time and energy to start and to sustain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you take a month or 2 off and your membership dips, or whatever, like at hockey now, we're short some guys, so we can't rent the ice. Then if we get more guys in, we want to rent more, we can't because someone else took that slot. And it's an ongoing battle that most people aren't willing to put the time and effort into. So, yeah, I think it's outside of some other established maybe football clubs or something. Probably the best thing you can do to join in terms of not having too much responsibility and the flexibility of participating as much or as little as you want.
Exactly.
And it's a community that you build. Like, it's already established, but there's still room for improvement, and we change over time. We create events that people are interested in. We have people in a different chapter. I met someone who has
Don't
a
worry about
master's who has a master's in K-pop. And so she did an event and she finds it difficult to talk to people about K-pop, especially at our age. But she found her people, she was given the platform to do it, but people have to take part.
Yeah.
They have to do it. We've had chapters that sadly had to close because they didn't have enough members.
I'm sure.
And as we see, we do have enough teachers in Korea, so that shouldn't be the case. But people have to take part. They have to like really see it as a community and make it their own.
If you said about you get the chance to present, if I was a teacher and I had an idea for whatever, say an educational tool or
How does soccer help you think strategically?
something like that,
right?
yeah. Could I present? Could I, if I joined, you would give me the platform to present
Absolutely,
in front of people?
Oh,
We
for
take
sure.
care
I
of
like it.
everything.
Yeah.
We take
And
care
it-
of the location. We take care of promoting it. We take care of hosting and
Yeah.
catering, hospitality.
If you needed help working on it,
Might
if
take
need
you up on
feedback
that.
and- yeah, no, totally.
Polish for his head there.
Oh,
Hey!
easy.
The pre-speech polish.
He just doesn't want you to join ours. It's like,
Stay with the Canadian
yeah.
A couple on the membership thing still. But the reason I asked about calling out, because I find the more you can connect with them, the more likely they are to stay connected to the organization. You must have a group of people that sign up that are, okay, I signed up, I paid, I'm busy for the first event, I can't go, oh shoot, second event, I'm on vacation, and just kind of phase out or fizzle out or forget about it. That's what I was kind of getting at. Like, if you reach out and say, hey, even we can just go for coffee or something, or, the two of us are meeting for a hike next weekend if you want to join us. It's not an official thing, but if you want to talk about the group, the organization or something, there must be a certain percentage of people who sign up that don't end up making it.
Oh,
Just like the gym and everywhere
yeah,
else.
yeah, for sure.
It's exactly like the gym.
Yeah.
But we will continue doing what we can. We will still put on events, we will still send out the newsletter, we will still email our members, we'll post on Facebook, we'll still get the message out there. But if people don't come, there's nothing we can do. And we will focus on members who are active. Those are the ones that will give us feedback. And at the end, they get the events that they want to take part.
Right.
Because they're the ones that actually talk to us. So
Right.
there's only so much we can do. We can show you the job, but you have to walk through it.
Yeah.
And we also try to do a really nice balance of social as well as professional, so that maybe somebody's kind of feeling a little bit, I don't know if I want to do this
Right.
AI workshop, or I want to do this. But we do one of my favorite things. We always do a cherry blossom event, but I introduced a beach hop. So we did our first one last year, and it was so fun. So it's our first annual beach hop. So we were a little ambitious. We were going to try to get to 3 beaches in Busan. But we got to our first beach and we were having so much fun that we kind of just stayed, and then
Stop hopping.
And then, but we did hop to a second. We did make it to, because we wanted to go to Dedepo to do the musical water fountain. So we went over there for dinner and stuff. But it was so fun. So we try to
Beach
mix
flop.
in. Yeah. Beach flop. It was great.
Rebranding.
You flopped up the first one. I don't mean as a failure. You just flopped up the first one.
Okay,
You just stop. A beach stop.
We got
Good recovery.
We got some good. We got some watermelon from some of the ajumas for free. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but so we try to do a healthy mix of somebody's quite not ready for the professional part, then they join the social part,
Sure.
and then we mix in a little bit of the, talk about the organization and get them, and hopefully they come to the next event.
Yeah.
So
That's
We've
good.
also had members from different chapters reach out to us. They're like, I've got this that I want to present. Is it okay if I do it? So even if it's the same topic that they presented last time, maybe they want to do it again, but just change bits, and they come
Cool.
and they present with us.
Cool.
yeah, cross pollination is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
With
With
what-
bees.
What kind of barriers, if any, have you found that restrict them from joining or prevent them from joining? Because like you say, there's a lot of teachers. And why isn't the membership much higher?
That's what DPI is for, because
That-
that's exactly
right.
what the issue is. The issue is, at least in my thinking, that people are like, what is the value added? I'm busy, or I
Right.
don't feel like motivating myself to come.
Yeah.
Why should I be a member of this professional organization, right? I can't get tenure, I'm not gonna advance this way, or maybe I'm thinking of leaving in a couple of years, why would I join? And so the barrier really is just sort of, I think, a lack of understanding how it can really help you, and how it can either make your life here richer or help you build skills when you take it on, go home or take it on the road, right? So I think that there is no real barrier. I think it's just not understanding what we can do for you. And so creating specific workshops to show you how your life here can be richer, fuller, and and your career can be richer, fuller in that connection is what we're trying to do.
But apart, again, for workshops that you probably have to have a connection into it, has there been any research done on the teachers on, have you heard of KOTESOL? Would you join? Why haven't you? If you heard it, why haven't you joined? What would entice you to joining? Has there been any national surveys or something put out through the Board of Ed? Through the Minister of Education?
So not national, but for example, every time we have an event, we do ask our members,
Yes.
how did you hear about us? Or the people joining, not even members, just people joining. How did you hear about us? Would you like to join? Just access. I think, adding to what Casey was saying, and I mentioned earlier, I think for some people, teaching was not really their career goal. They came here either to earn money or just because they wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And so they came here and they're like, well, I'm only here for a year. I already have a job. I'm going to save some money or have some fun, and then I'm off. And even those people that have stayed a little bit longer, they don't see themselves as real teachers. They're either, so I've seen this because I've heard this from people, they're just hagwon. They add the just hagwon teacher. I'm just this. And it's like a phase, a chapter of their life, but then when they go back home, maybe they want to change careers. And what we would like people to understand is, one, you might have been here for 5 years, so maybe just develop a few skills. And two, if you do go back home and you do change careers, you have transferable skills. You've created a network as well, connections that you might want to do. So do something with it back home. So it's just changing that mentality of you're not just an educator here passing time, getting money, but we also want to encourage people to see themselves as that. We are educators and I can grow my skills and I can do something about it. But it's the mentality. I think it's people's perception
but
of
even if you're not an educator, I think you should be striving to be the best version of yourself. I mean, not your 21-year-old, 22-year-old self here drinking soju, whatever, fine. But after 2 years, then it's you kind of, okay, I got to shift gears here. But taking strides in the right direction, networking you should be doing anywhere, wherever you are, regardless if you're an educator or not. These students should be networking and they don't.
No.
And
the thing
in terms of
that they're in, so here they are, and they're like, okay, they should be doing those things, right? But they're here, and they're like, okay, I'm just this, I'm just that, and this is a dead end job. Why should I bother? But that's what we're trying to do.
Right,
so,
right.
like again, your question was, what is the barrier? What keeps people from joining or participating once they join? And I really think it's because they don't see that workshop or that presentation that they think they need, right? So we're trying to make a real concrete connection to their life here and their work. So we're trying to create these presentations, workshops, events that are like, okay, you work in this job and you're like, oh, I just, the same textbook every year, it's the same, but what do you like to do? Do you play soccer? You play hockey? You're a photographer? How can you work that into your curriculum? How do you connect with your students? And then how does that, you're interested in already, there's probably a couple of students that are interested in that kind of thing. How do you guys connect and make it more fulfilling? So it's more about sort of, you said, talking. So in our newsletter, we created a call to action. We're asking them directly, what do you want from us? What do you want to see? What do you want from your chapter? Get involved, talk to us. So, but again, like Gabriella says, what is the expression? You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. We can only create so much.
But I think obviously those things are there, the transferable skills, the experiences, the networking, which are all crucial in the next stage of your life, wherever that may be. But I'm thinking more about the unreached people that have no idea, don't see the newsletter, don't know the conference, don't know the workshop. Is there any, like I've been here 20 years, apart from what I kind of dig and find, or if I'm friends with Rhea or Annika or whatever, outside of that, I haven't seen, have you? Like, I mean, it doesn't pop up on my feeds or anything regularly. I don't really know about it, and I'm connected all over. Is there a marketing campaign or a promotion campaign that, or like the survey, I would just envision teaming up with the Board of Education or the Hagwon Association to get out to all teachers Do you know this? Do you know there's an organization like this? Would you consider? Do you think networking is important? Do you think?
It's a bit of a catch-21 here, because in order to reach the Board of Education, you have to show that you have a group, a big group. We can't show that, and so they don't take us that seriously. And then for us to be like, please help us so we can reach out to the Board of Education, we don't have that. Second, it takes money to actually send out publications and stuff. It's volunteering. We don't have this big
budget.
bank.
Yeah.
And I also would push back a little bit in that when I was ready, so, I was here working the Hagwons, and I was like, okay, I love Korea, I want to stay here, but I'm going to go to Korean jail if I don't get out of this. And so, all right, next step, need to do my master's, need to go, right? And like you said, you are somebody that does your homework, you're networking, you're meeting, right? And that's what I did. That's who I am, right? So I Googled, and one of the biggest organization that came up is KOTESOL. We are number one in that search. So I would push back a little bit. I know more people who've heard of the organization than haven't.
They haven't.
Good.
So I think that maybe it's a 1 degree, 2 degree separation. Most people, if you've been in the country 2 years as a teacher, if you've spoken, had a beer somewhere, whatever, people have heard of the organization. We're the number one search.
A good way to put it.
I would also add that it's about your surroundings. If you are around people who are interested in career growth, they will probably have heard of this, and you'll bounce off that.
Sure.
But if your surroundings are like, what are you doing this weekend? We're going out drinking. That is all you know.
Sure.
If you meet someone like, actually, I want to write for a journal, I'm thinking of publishing something. I don't know, if you're around people like that, this is what I would say, join KOTESOL. If you're not quite there, once you join, you'll get that bug, you'll catch that bug. You'll want to. If you hear someone like, oh, I'm writing and I'm publishing this, you'll start thinking, oh, maybe I should start doing it.
Sure.
It's not that far reach. It's a goal that's achievable. And presenting, again, maybe it's not something that you're used to. You'll find that we have people presenting for 20 minutes. It's not a whole hour and you have to do a PPT with fireworks and this. No, just start small and then go from there.
I don't think the benefits of the organization are in question at all. I mean, I think you can gain valuable experience here. What I would be interested in is trying to help promote or increase the membership, because the numbers seem they don't make sense to me.
Absolutely, and this is what we think, and this is why we're doing this podcast.
And I think, you're going to see it skyrocket after this.
Exactly.
Nate's mom and Anna are going to
join. You'll become a member.
Honorary member.
Yeah.
You get the VIP side passport.
You can join the SIG.
But thank you.
enjoy a SIG.
But I was thinking, with all these obvious benefits, that should be something that most young people are seeking after the social drinking, whatever. Why not? How is there not a reach out through the Hagwon Association?
It's a great mystery.
Through the Hagwon Association, that if I was a director, I would say, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to encourage my teachers to do this because they're going to be more responsible, more connected, less likely to get in trouble and do stupid things in the community when they're supported by a group of people that have been established and been here. I don't know a director who wouldn't think that that's a good idea. I don't think they're going to say, hey, I got this 24-year-old and this is going against our Hagwon ideology. No. So, I mean, do you guys have any connections? Maybe we can put them in touch with Roy and those guys.
Just from my perspective, what I thought about before we scheduled this and I met you guys last year, I viewed KOTESOL as a very professional group. It seems very legit. You can go on the website and you guys are having symposiums and whatnot. But for me, joining, again, I didn't know the benefits of joining. I didn't know how to join. It was that those were kind of the mysteries to me. It seemed to me like it was just, it existed and it's supported. It's got a strong foundation. But joining was what's the reason? So maybe promotion going forward should focus on that possibly. But
I think it's like anything that requires a little bit of work. Actually, you know that it's good for you. You know that if you do something about it, you'll get there. but then you just don't.
Yeah.
It's like you join the gym, or you see a gym like, I should join, it'll be good for me. No.
Yeah.
Maybe
Or-
next week.
Yeah. Or that masters that I've been thinking about for years. You start thinking of all the effort that you have to put in rather than just go for it. There is that, that idea that you should just think of something and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do it. And there's the same with KOTESOL. Just join. Like it is 50,000. It's a bit of an investment for some people, but just think, okay, like 50,000. That's a night out, to be honest.
But you said
nowadays.
you get to go 3 times for free. I think that takes away that barrier.
Yeah,
Come and
it
try it
should.
for 3 times.
Try
It should.
Find someone you like, you get along with, meet someone. Hey, okay, I'll try again. After 3 times, the $50 would seem like nothing, and you already got 3
Yeah.
events for free. So,
You're preaching to the choir.
but
my
I
friend.
never. But to be honest, I never knew there was 3 events for free or 3 activities or whatever for free. It was, and I even think I tried to join. Well, there is one barrier on that application for something, because I thought I tried to join through Rhea or Annika or someone, and I went on the website and I tried, and then
It wasn't your time.
you
have
needed
do it
to
through me.
you needed to have something that I didn't have.
So,
or-
okay, so here, when you join, you actually don't have to put your bank details. It's a bank transfer.
details.
No, wait.
Oh.
Your bank details is a bank transfer.
Right, but
I
what
thought
was
there
the
was.
bar- what did you-
Now I don't remember, but I want to say
Let's
that
open the app.
I want to say that Corey had a similar thing when he had to join to do that presentation, right?
Nope.
No, we let people present without being members.
At least
There's
one.
no
I thought
barrier.
somebody else.
Just laziness.
I thought somebody else recently had a similar one.
Oh, no, for the international
But
conference.
it's different.
Oh.
The
It's
conferences are different than membership.
Yeah.
Just general membership.
Okay, maybe that's what it was, because I think Rhea was vice chairing that international conference, and she
Yeah.
was
She is
trying to
at the
get us, and I
moment,
was
yeah.
going to
That's
sign up,
different.
and you had to do something that I couldn't do at the time, or I had
Yeah.
to get
Sounded
something.
addictive.
or-
Yeah, the conferences are different than just straight membership.
But yeah, maybe we can put them in touch with like the Hagwon Association or something.
I don't know. I mean, it's stuff that we talked
Well,
about
it's
too.
one of
with-
the things that we are looking into as far as like, so we consider Busan, even though Gabrielle was cheerleading for Ulsan to
Yeah.
move it to the sort of our hub, but we're trying to make connections within the community
Yeah.
to for spaces and sort of come to an event and you hope maybe you'll give us a discount and you come to this free event, and we're trying to. That's one of the things that we're trying to get Olia, our
Ole moly.
Ole moly.
Yeah.
our locations manager, finding people who want to work with us, businesses that want to work with us. So that is something that we're working on this year.
As a-
Absolutely. And then this year, we're also making sure that all our events are at academic places. So
yes.
it's not a coffee shop, it's not at your local park. They're all at universities.
Universities,
Yeah.
So when you get that certificate, it actually says
Mm.
the
Yeah.
name of that university.
I was thinking of something else that I mean, we got more than enough on our plates at the moment, but I've been trying to go to Toastmasters for
Ah.
like 8 months.
One of our regular attendees, Sunny's, what's her name? Korean woman.
It's on Mondays.
She
Yeah.
comes to us from Toastmasters.
John's wife.
I don't know. It just
It's on
I don't know
Mondays.
John.
And I had to pick up my kids from orchestra or something on Mondays. It didn't work, and then I had 2 Mondays off, and I said, okay, I'm coming this week. And they're like, oh no, we're not doing it this week. And I was like,
Never fails. Right?
so
Yeah.
it's something again that I think tons of people should be involved in,
Yeah.
or there should be a Mugudan or Donggu, Ulchu, Buku, Jungu. But there's one as far as I know, and I never heard of it till last year, and I just stumbled upon it by accident.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how that was, but it was through 3 different people or something. Said, do you know Toastmasters? I'm like, well, sure I know.
Sophie. Yes, just come to the events.
So I think for that one, like, there's a lot of people with a lot less going on that they could gain valuable stuff out of going to Toastmasters and learning how to become more confident in public speaking, whether that's students, teachers, professionals, whoever.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
still,
But Nate, this is the thing. We also don't understand. We've
Yeah.
had events like
Again.
we used to have events during the week in the evening to make sure that
Everyone's
even at
accommodated.
7 p.m. It's late for us, but we're like, okay, we'll wait for people to finish work. Then we decided to do it on the weekends for those who work in the evenings, and
had
then we
one.
also had
Yeah.
mornings. Still nothing.
Yeah, it's
Still
hard.
struggling.
So
with the
it's
tempo, yeah.
it's there's only so much you can do.
and what about in the other regions? What are
They also have that.
Yeah. I mean, it partly, we really have not recovered from COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of people went back home.
Yeah.
So it really decimated
Yeah.
membership and just, and I think a little bit of just sort of motivation, even if you're still a member still.
Yeah.
it really dampened things. And so we're still trying to regain our footing. And again, we're trying to figure out what is that secret sauce of why you would join an organization like this and also be an active member. And one of the things, again, that we push in our chapter is you have that idea and you don't know what to do with that idea. You have that interest. Exactly.
That's me.
We are for you. Come here, present, make it what you need it to be.
You need some
Right?
of that Coney
So
Island sauce on there. People be running in like crazy.
You know? No, right? But yeah, so that's the thing, is that we're trying to figure out what that secret combination is. And that's where, DPI was born. It's like, your different track, are you here or are you here? And how can we make it enticing for you to actually get up off your butt and come and participate?
I like that, and good for you and for taking the initiative and doing that. I think it's awesome.
I remember being a first-year teacher and going into a class and having no idea. Zero idea what to do.
Yeah.
And just other teachers like, mate, just read the book. and then make the kids read the book. And then, and then make them read it again. And then you read it, and then it was like, oh my God.
Put a YouTube video.
Oh,
Forget
man.
the book.
Oh my
It
God,
was
YouTube videos.
it was very overwhelming just being thrown into a class with zero.
Guy by Bo and Uno.
Yeah. But I remember our Hagwon made us go to, I don't know, some it was like a book publisher or whatever. They held like a small conference one day before our classes started, and the person speaking gave like these really simple, not even games, just kind of different
Like
ways to think, icebreakers, something like that. And it was so helpful. It was like a 20-minute presentation. I was like, oh my God.
Your whole world opened up.
Where was
You
this?
throw away that book.
Stop reading. We're doing this activity.
It's true. Even one of my co-workers at the university, he wasn't sure what to do with phonology. We had a phonology presentation, and I remember some of the activities that she had in mind. So I suggested it to him. He used them and was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was great. And I was like, join KOTESOL.
Exactly.
Did you ever
You need a
think?
taser to go with that. And a follow-up is
That's for 2026. If this doesn't, if CPI doesn't work.
more aggressive
taser.
approach.
50 Shades of KOTESOL. We'll smack your ass with a fucking spike bat.
Go to a Thursday party and just like, KOTESOL. KOTESOL.
Oh man, did you ever think if you're having trouble, you like that one? Did you ever think about making online contents for people instead of trying to accommodate everyone's schedule, making whatever micro classes or something?
Or like
Online,
a pre-recorded event.
yeah, that would be one too. But I mean, having mini courses instead of just doing one-off presentations. I mean, coming together. If people had similar ideas, you can make a mini course that could be free for members, paid for people who for non-members, and that could be, you might be able to get that accredited, or that'd
be good. Yeah. Would you like to head that?
Sure. Sure.
Join KOTESOL, and then you can head that.
I got a lot of ideas, and that's what it is. I'll talk to you about my idea later, but I don't want any
copyright.
Be careful. I don't want Nate's mom and aunt
dethroned as
stealing
the
it.
president.
I've got the taser, remember?
But it is. I've never even considered pitching the idea to the organization. I mean, I think about how much of a mountain it is to climb by yourself, but if there's the established thing, it's easier to do. Facilitates those people with the ideas. Nice.
Can you guys speak to, just changing directions, the events, national, international conferences, local, regional workshops, meetings, symposiums? Who are the target audiences? Who's presenting? What would be the steps to sign up as a presenter? Just maybe a little bit about the events that go on.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so we have an international and a national conference every year. The international tends to be in May, the national tends to be in October. Now, to take part, you do have to submit
For the international, an abstract.
An abstract and a summary. And for both, you have to submit. You have to be a member, and you have to submit, and then
You have to be on theme.
And you're vetted. So that's the thing. You're vetted, and Oh gosh, I've lost track. Okay,
Good
let me
job,
go through it. There we go. So both you submit your project, and then you're vetted, you're contacted, and then you go from there. Every single year we have a different theme. So as long as when you submit your application, it's on theme, you're more likely than anything to get.
And are the national, international, are those over a weekend or one day
2
or one
days.
afternoon?
2
or
days. It's
2
a
days
weekend,
typically?
Saturday and Sunday. So this year we have
Is the national 1 day?
2 days. 2 days. So this year the international conference is May the 10th to the 11th. The national conference hasn't been scheduled just yet, but it should be in October.
And are those typically always held in Seoul?
Yes. Yeah. The
national's
national is in
Yongin.
Gwangju.
Oh, the national last year was Yongin, right?
Gwangju.
Gwangju?
Gwangju.
Yeah.
So
Don't fly in.
Yeah.
And how about the
Too early.
local and regional symposiums, workshops? How about
So
those
that's
kinds?
the chapter decides when to have that. Last year we were feeling, I don't know, energetic around June, and we're like, let's
have a
do
symposium.
it. And
So much work.
Yes, so it
So much
really
work.
does take all those months to
Yeah.
get there. And so we're taking a break this year. Next year maybe we'll do it again. But yeah, a chapter decides when to have these events. Some chapters actually decide to have meetings the first of every month. So regardless of what's happening, they always have that. We tend to just go with the flow. We tend to go
As
with what the
needed and
the presenter, the one that we're having in Jinju this year, the presenter reached out to us. This was a month that worked for him and it fit our schedule. So that's how it came
Nice.
together. And then we have different events depending on
Right.
what we have.
And then this year, because of the new program, the new initiative, we're doing a lot of events surrounding that, the different tracks. And it's, again, we're doing one, it's like how to do your master's online. Another, my boss is really dynamic. He does a lot of programs in our school. And so he's going to talk, and he just started doing his PhD program. And so
Great.
initially I wanted him to do track 2 because he has young kids and he wants to move back to Canada. He's Canadian American.
Not part of the mafia.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Sorry, yeah. And he wants to move back with his kids so they can go to school there as well eventually. And so he actually kind of was a little bit of a spark for the second track. So I'm like, yeah, like, because he keeps toying with, should I join the organization? Should I not? You know. And so I was like, yeah, if you join, this is what you'll get out of it. And then he started doing his PhD and told me that he's probably going to be moving on. And I was like, yeah, but it'll still help you because then you'll have these things in place. You'll know how to network and show that you were part of this professional organization, even though you weren't in the country for however many years. And so he's going to talk about how he is shaping his PhD program towards returning home and how he can use what he's learned here and moving all the things he's created in his university before he moves back. So this year's programs are really around the DPI program, but in general, we try to sort of keep our ear to the ground to see what people are interested in. Like, so of course, AI is a really big thing right now, and we do a Teacher Tuesdays. Every 2 weeks, we post an article, an education article about what's going on in the field. So we're trying to listen for what people are talking about, what's coming down the pike, and try to include that and create events around it.
Absolutely.
To make it timely.
Last year we focused a lot on AI because that's what we thought people wanted, and actually we got feedback saying, can we move away a little bit from AI? And we did exactly that. We moved away from AI. So we listened to what people want. We do what we think people want, but then our members contact us
And then we ask,
shift.
is this what you want? And then they're like, we're tired of that now. Okay, talk to us. What do you need?
Yeah.
Will those DPI events be in Ulsan as well or no?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Wherever we,
All of Gyeongsangnam,
Yeah.
because that's our
province.
yeah.
Region.
So yeah, we can't move. If we do want to go somewhere else, we'll have to contact that
Right.
chapter.
We are going to talk about it in Seoul at the international conference because I got chosen. I'm so excited. It's my
Nice.
first professional.
Congratulations.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
But so my English conversation and cocktail event, one of the national people saw it because I posted it on Facebook, and they were like, "This is a great idea. You should pitch it for the international conference." And so I worked it up. And so it's part of track 1. I'm a lifer here. not bored, but I want some more fulfillment. And so I created this event. And so that's what I'm going to talk about at the international conference, how to make your experience here more fulfilling.
Nice.
And make make yourself look good at your job too, because we got noticed. Our department got noticed by, the big heads in the office because of this event.
Nice.
Because 60 plus students came to our Christmas party, and it's all word of mouth.
Beautiful.
Because one of the guys forgot to close the sign-up sheet. And so the next time he looked, the first time he looked, there were 15 students, and the day of the event, there were 60.
Nice.
And then it ended up being 70 people at this local bar.
Nice.
And it was mayhem. It was really fun. And so it all, it's gotten word of mouth, and then it got to the department heads. And they're like, oh, they're engaging the students. It's, good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, was that like a structured and how much planning went into that event, especially if you say a whole bunch joined? Was it just go to the bar and have your apple juice or whatever you're having and hang out, or
no? Well,
was there like games and stuff going on?
So this year what we're doing is, we do one March semester, and then spring and fall. So spring is either, depending on what month we do it in, it's either a welcome event, or because we're doing it a little later this semester, we're calling it 50-50, glass half full, glass half empty, because it'll be right after midterms. So it's going to be it's going to be like, oh, you made it, you're halfway through, right? So, and then we do a little trivia and just talk. So, but our Christmas event is really fun. We do trivia game, holiday trivia. We give out prizes and gifts and stuff, and I decorate the whole bar with Christmas stuff.
Nice.
And so it's become a whole thing.
No Santa?
Well, Santa hats.
Listen, he's trying to sell you.
Oh, Santa, come on, Santa.
This is Young Songnando's number one Santa sitting right here.
Yeah, so it's become its own thing, but it's great because our the head of our rec committee was just like, oh, it got back to the bigwigs, and they're really pleased that we're engaging because, with the whole birth rate thing, we're losing students, we're trying to, it's really difficult, and we're getting more international students now, and so that really has been interesting to see, and it's a great mix of half Korean students and half international students.
Perfect.
And it's exactly what the university wants, so it's been really,
It's not like home where the bars are on campus and you just go to the bar on campus and you have those naturally occurring, organically meetings happening.
What advice do you have for people looking to do their masters? You said that's part of the...
Yeah, one of our programs. So what is it?
That's in April.
Yes.
We have 3 speakers. And they're going to talk, so it's the same with masters and PhD. So we have someone speaking how to choose your program, how to mentally prepare yourself for it. Then we have someone who's actually going through it at the moment, their experience. And then we have someone who's completed it, how that process was and what they're thinking of doing with it later.
Sure.
So that's the same, masters and PhD. And that's all we're saying because you have to come to the event.
Nice. I did mine.
Little teaser. Little teaser.
I did mine a few years ago it seemed like the least likely to be accredited university of the people.
Oh,
really?
Do you know?
I've heard of this.
Never seen a reaction like that.
Sounds like a
Holy
cult.
man.
On
It sounds like a cult. It's not a cult.
He's a guy. He's like, he travels all over the world.
Hold on. So he did a TED Talk like 15 years ago on it.
I remember him.
It's supposed to be, they say tuition free. You're getting me excited now. It's
He's
tuition free.
mentioned this every 129 episodes. And never had a response like that.
Oh, really? What do people usually say? Oh, no.
What the hell's that? Sounds like you got it at Daiso.
It sounds like it sounds like a cult.
It's Temu. It's the Temu, the Temu Masters. But when I signed up, it was DEAC approved. So that's like the Department of Education, something in America. Anyways, it's approved in America.
Just got cut last week.
No, dude, it just got regional accreditation last week in the States. Totally legitimizing my 2.5 years of.
Have they changed the name, though?
No, it's still.
Really? University of the People?
Doesn't it? But I've said it before, but when I hear that, it sounds like a Bob Marley, like University
like
of the People.
Sounds like the Moonies.
It's
but it is a very subsidized or I don't know, cheap way for
It cost me $2,400 to get
Whoa,
the
really?
master's. Yeah, $200.
So it's just making education available for everyone.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
And
They need a better name, but that's great.
I couldn't agree more. It is absolutely terrible. University of the People. What is this?
It
Yeah,
sounds like
yes,
something from
yes
the
and no. I
60s.
mean,
Yeah.
Love and peace and flowers.
Yeah.
you know, we probably know same with the two or three of the same famous universities that everyone here does their things online from, and what makes them more qualified than at least that I go, that sounds interesting. I'll check it out. The other ones I've heard, I know all the people that have done it. So I can know without even doing it what they're like. But it's for the people, by the people. What do they
Yeah,
say? Who's
University of the People.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever preposition you want to put in there.
Yeah, exactly.
University in the people.
the people.
On top of the people,
What I
whatever.
will say,
Under
though,
the people.
just do your masters. That I will say. Like,
Sure.
especially in
Yeah.
Korea, they don't really care where it's from, what
Yeah.
it is.
Hold
you
on.
have a
Nobody
piece of paper.
nobody cares anywhere.
So just have the
If
piece
it's
of
the year
paper.
after you graduate and it says Harvard, maybe, but 10 years later, nobody cares.
No.
It's
So just do it.
Yeah.
I think it's what you put it in the end. What are you going to say in an interview when someone asks you, like, "Hey, tell me about your master's"? If you put your full effort in, and you know the material deeply, and they're asking you questions about your philosophy or this or this,
Right.
if you can't answer those questions and you just kind of dialed it in for 2 years
Right.
with whatever, using your friend's work, or you can
AI,
you can
ChatGPT.
sure exactly. I finished mine before ChatGPT.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, that's an asterisk now, though.
That's how you know
Yeah,
it is
right.
by the people.
Hey, that's a crucial thing for a lot of people probably
Yeah.
to finish it before 2 years ago, because
yeah.
since 2 years ago now everyone's
Yeah.
getting questioned, right?
And you know what? I'm glad that temptation wasn't there.
Yeah.
That you had to fully
I would've
engage
been
in.
full on.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I laugh at the name too. But I got a lot out of that program.
yeah.
Man. I got a lot out of that, and it really helped me focus and understand everything. I think a lot of things you get just inherently from teaching, but they put the title on it, or it summarizes it perfectly for you. So.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the professional side of it and the publishing stuff? You guys mentioned English Connection
English Connection.
and
KOTESOL Journal.
KOTESOL Journal.
And then there's a couple of others that are a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
Informal.
Scribes, thank you.
Sure.
Informal. Scribes is kind of anybody, member, I think it's member, non-member, you can do Scribes. And so, yeah, so the publication, again.
I was just saying, you had mentioned that it was one of the reasons you got
Yes.
involved because you wanted to publish. Have you published?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you take us through a little bit about that and what it's like?
Yes.
And
So for English Connection, well, actually for both, but for English Connection especially, it's more hands-on. It's really like you can take this magazine and find activities and things to do in your class. It's almost like a practicum, right? You have to have your sources, your references. But it's not a pure journal. My passion is motivation, right? So I read a lot about motivation. So my first article for them was on motivation. But then for KOTESOL Journal, which was really fun, is they also have book reviews and things. So I wrote, Mehdi Hassan?
No.
He's kind of a firebrand journalist, and he wrote this great book on debating, right? And so I reviewed his book for KOTESOL Journal. So there's different ways you can get into the publishing.
Contribute, yeah.
But again, so the top tier is KOTESOL Journal for like really kind of professional academic writing, right? You have to have your real sources. English Connection is the next tier down, where again it's much more practical. They really want you to give the reader something they can take away and put in their classroom. And then Scribes again is more almost what do they have in Scribes? It's more personal, like first person. This is my experience. This is what I'm doing, kind of thing. So it's much more open and easy. I think that's the easiest one to kind of break into. And then English Connection, and then KOTESOL Journal is much more rigid.
Something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And apart from the journal, are they all available online or?
Yes.
Yes.
They're all online.
But
you can.
membership, you have to be a member.
Yeah, you have to be a member. You can find it online, and then you can request to get a hard print. And this was actually changed last year, because before you could, they'll mail that to you, but just to save paper.
Cool.
And again, it's really an excellent way to work things out. Especially, I really like English Connection. That's the one I've written for twice. Because it's number one, it's just fun to see your name in print. But it really is a chance to work things out, work with your ideas, and get that publishing credit, which looks fantastic on your resume, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, I would say for non-native speakers who find it a bit intimidating to write in English, the English Connection is a great way because it's not too long.
Yeah.
You have some that are 1 page, 2 pages, even 4 pages, but you decide. And then you do have really nice editors.
Yeah, really great feedback.
Who will talk to you and will guide you. So if you're not a native speaker, if that's what makes you a little bit uncomfortable, or you are a native speaker but you don't feel comfortable writing, there is support.
Yes,
there is
exactly.
guidance there.
Yeah, and I was just asked, one of our editors was asking me, he runs, I don't say program, but he runs this thing where it helps writers get in and, like, again, even more hands-on help to build your skills so you can eventually write for a KOTESOL journal.
Right.
And it's for non-native speakers and native speakers. So it's
Cool.
David Schaefer.
Yeah.
Reach out.
And even
Name
with the
sounds
journal,
familiar.
Yeah,
even with the journal, once you start reading through it, you get an idea of how to write or what is expected.
Yeah.
And so give yourself time. Like maybe you decide that you want to write it, but then give yourself like a 6-month period, and there will be a chance for you to publish.
In your experience in the organization, is there any really memorable speakers that have that really stick out in your mind, like very impactful speaker or topic that?
I'm really bad with names. We have one guy who speaks a lot. I think he's Irish. He's the one that does a lot of talks on reflection.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a guy. He's published books. It's John something.
Okay.
Blanking on his name, but he's very popular with all the conferences because he writes these books and does these talks on teachers reflecting and getting the students to reflect. And I found that really interesting because it's something I added to I do conversation classes at my university, as well as my credit courses. And it's something that I added to my conversation classes. At the end of the 4-week period, my last class is a reflection now that I took that from his talks.
Yeah.
And it's really been interesting where the students have to sort of, oh yeah, what did I learn? What did I come in here knowing and what did I get out of the class? And it's been very helpful.
Yeah.
So that's one of the talks from the conference that's really stuck with me.
Sure.
I have someone, I know her by first name.
I know names.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
And she actually takes care on well-being and effective communication. Last year at the national conference. Oh, Nate. How not very professional.
So much for
To
Dyson.
move my height and nightstand.
Ryan's looking at his artwork like he's ruined. She did a talk at the national conference, and it was about motivation, also different ways of communicating and activities. And it was a great talk. And I just remember thinking, what if you have a student that sabotages your class? Because you have those students who you create a great activity and they either don't take part.
The rotten apple.
Let's not call it that.
Well, if they're not having
would say a
bruised
different
apple.
word.
A bad
and
egg.
so I asked, and she said, well, students who do that is because they don't feel safe in that environment. They act out because they don't feel safe. So it's about communicating or even just watching them and seeing how you can make them feel safe. Because when students feel safe, they don't do that. They enjoy the activity. And I remember that presentation and when she answered my question, and I thought that's so true. Even if I can't make that student feel safe, because maybe something, especially at university, you see your students once a week and that's it.
In a big classroom.
Yeah, you don't have enough time. But just having that idea in your mind kind of also gives that student grace. Like, okay, myself and that student. And then I strive towards that. So non-communication skills, I will definitely work on that. Maybe smiling a little bit more or just gesturing that I'm open to listening to them. And for me, that was really impactful.
Yeah.
I have to say, just for our own chapter, just before Gabriella joined, we did at the National, we did a panel on how to move from Hagwon or public school or private teaching. So each one of our members took a section. So one had experience, Danny had experience, well, through everything, but he talked about Hagwon life and how do you get out of the Hagwon to the public school, or how do you get out of, and so we had this great panel on just the step-by-step breakdown of job trajectory and how you move and our own experience and what we did to get out of each type of job and move to the next level. So it was a really good panel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was funny 15 years ago or 20 years ago when we were here, and we were like, how the hell do you get that university job? Man, you just have to put in like 10 years, then it automatically just happens.
Yeah.
And it's kind of how it happened. It's kind of
University fairy godmother just comes and it's your time.
Yeah.
and you know, we had young names there and like Jeff. And like, what do you guys got to, because you guys aren't that qualified. How'd you guys get in there? Like, what do you got to do? And you just got to build that network and know them.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
does help.
I'm not saying you don't have to be qualified, but you got to get out there and know people and make people understand who you are and know who you are and that you are a good candidate.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that was the mystery for how many years? When's that guy going to die? How long are we got to put in before we can take one of these jobs?
To be honest, that's still the case.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
And now maybe it's a little bit, we kind of take it for granted a little bit, but sometimes I see some young Hagwon teachers on the street by close to where we live there, and I ask them, I'm at a Hagwon.
Homeless?
Yeah, they're like, hey, you got that university hookup?
Might go to China, and they're like, you know, they'll ask some questions, and if it's vacation or starting time or hours, they're like, oh, and I'm like, listen, slug through the mud for a couple of years, you'll figure it out. Reach out, branch out, build your network, get out in the community, and you'll figure it out. There it is. Yeah.
That's it. Your olive branch.
Yeah.
Are there any unexpected benefits that you guys have gotten from joining?
Confidence.
Yeah.
I was looking to get out of the Hagwon. I wanted to get into university. I actually asked my aunt when I graduated from my master's program to buy me my KOTESOL membership as my graduation gift.
Cool.
Yeah. And she's like, what do you want? I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to join this organization. Will you pay for my first year? And that's how I entered. And I just thought, oh, I'll just be a member. You know, but I was excited, you know,
VP,
and I
man.
Well, I didn't know.
Did she pay for that too?
Yeah, she didn't know.
Grandma put a little extra in?
But here this master's degree was burning a hole in my hand, and I didn't know I was a Hagwon teacher, and I'm a bit of a loner, so I didn't know any other teachers.
Yeah.
I was just out in my little town, no teachers, right? And so I didn't know what to do. And so again, I just Googled professional teaching organizations, you know, and KOTESOL was number one.
Yeah.
And so then I went to their website and I was looking around and then just talking to Rhea and Annika, and then, you know, they were like, oh, you're ready, you're excited, what can we do with you? And VP. But there are people who get the title, not just VP, but any title, and they don't do anything with it.
Sure,
right? Just
all the time.
But I was just like ready to go, and it gave me the confidence because, you know, you're isolated, you're doing, you know, maybe you don't know anybody, or you're just teaching and you don't know what you can do or what you're capable of at that level. And so everybody kept saying, just try it, go ahead. Rhea and Annika were like, just get out there, try. And I'm like, are you sure? I don't know, I've never done this before. And you know, and I sat in on a panel and I went to the conferences, and it was all new to me. And it really, seeing people, regular everyday people actually get up and speak at the conferences, and I was like, oh, maybe I can do it. I have this idea. And I did my first presentation on Zoom for the KOTESOL, and it, you know, it went well, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, maybe I can do it in person. So it really gave me a sort of a confidence, a boost, and some support that I didn't realize I needed.
A safe place to try it.
Yeah, exactly. Really supportive, really cheering me on, and next level, why don't you do, I was like, you think? You know, and yeah.
Do you think age and maturity plays a part in that mentality that you had?
Are you calling me old?
When they said you're ready?
Mature.
No, but I think
code, that's
Brandon,
code.
we talk about
I know a code word when I hear it.
Well seasoned.
That's a communication.
It's the light, man. It's the light.
I don't want Cheryl to be upset.
You need to take part in our team building.
Yeah. She's talking about language. Come on.
So we talk about it lots that if we did our masters at 23 or whenever we graduated, we were dumb as bricks.
Yeah.
That my masters has so much more impact because I did it 15 years after I graduated, and that's the maturity and the age that I did it. It was probably a lot easier because I enjoyed it and I actually chose it, and I chose to put myself through the pain. Whereas if it was 23 and mom and dad said, "Okay, now just go to your masters now," and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I get to a master. Like, I don't even really know if I like this.
Speaking to reflection, like what do you reflect on at 23?
Exactly.
You got nothing.
No,
I thought I had lots at 23, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
So that's what I'm talking about.
And I would
No, for
say,
sure.
like for here, for example, it's experience. Trial and error is what helps you grow, and that's how you end up valuing your experiences, what you're doing, and also yourself.
Yeah.
Because like, damn, I went through that and I survived. I lived
In a foreign
cupboard.
country.
Yeah, I lived in a cupboard and I survived. I don't have the language and I was able to do this. And I feel like that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. The older you get is that wisdom that you get because you're thankful. And again,
And you survived.
You survived and you value yourself. So I think that's the difference.
So does that mean when you say Annika and Ray say you're ready? Like I think when you say some people get the title but they don't do anything, it's because they're not ready. Would you, just from a personal, not a KOTESOL perspective or anything, but I think that age and maturity plays a lot into are you ready?
Oh yeah.
For lots of stuff that we do, it's because we're old and we have kids and families, and it's because we're ready.
I know, right? It's just
We're ready to do this
shots
stuff.
fired, man. Catching strings all over the place.
If you asked him to start a football club before he had kids, he would get zero interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Now he's got a kid who really loves it, and you know it's with your kids, and you're old enough and you can manage it, and it's worthy of your time.
Yeah.
So
Again, sorry, I'm going to pitch DPI again. Track one, that's the whole thing, right? Yes, it is older. You maybe got a little of the partying out of your system.
Yeah.
You're ready to settle down. And you're like here, and you're like, okay, here's this job. What's it doing? I'm not going out every night again. So where's the fulfillment? I'm not going to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix every night. What can I do to make me not feel like, oh, I got to go to work?
Yeah.
Right? What can I do to, infuse some interest in my life? And so, yeah, it comes with age and maturity. And then you're looking like, how can I combine the two, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you're a member for life, I think that's good. When I was doing my master's, I felt way more motivated. You'd learn something on Monday and you're like, yo, I want to do that.
Yeah,
And it's exciting.
Sure.
But the master's ends. And so does kind of the motivation. Or, I mean, you take some things
the
from
fire
it.
dampens.
But also
yeah.
the pain ends.
Yes.
You know what? They laughed at me, man. I had like post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd wake up and be like, oh, I got to do a
God, it was a nightmare.
report.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I have to go home. You can't have fun. Like, the weekend, the red day is studying.
I try to read 30 books a year. I make a book list, right? My master's broke me. I was like, get away. I can't concentrate. My brain is just like, I read so much for the program. It took me 6 months. I don't even know if I'm recovered. The same way. I couldn't look at a book the same way for a long time. It was so, because, I went back for my master's, 20 years after graduation?
Yeah.
So it was just like my brain, my body was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That muscle was just
Add
not
a
there.
6-month or a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old or
Oh,
something
God,
in there. I
no.
was like,
I don't know how you did that.
I don't know. That's
who
insanity.
chose to do this?
Yeah.
How did my wife convince me this was the right time?
She was mad at me. My wife was mad at me.
I went through some
You can
pain.
do it.
You go through
You know
some
when the
pain.
baby's crying at night, you can just type with one hand and
You
you
got
get
this.
it done.
Entertained.
Yeah.
It's the new lullaby.
Oh my God.
I signed up 1 week before Corona started.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like without noise, like, okay, I'm going to do a master's.
Yeah.
Next week, it was like everything shut down. Like, oh yeah, everything. Oh, it couldn't have been better timing.
Yeah, right?
And right when things started picking up again, it
You
was
were
like,
done.
yeah. I couldn't have done it otherwise. Mentally, it would have.
Yeah.
It would have broke me, man.
Yeah.
How about for you, Gabriella? Any unexpected benefits of?
Yes,
Joining?
because I thought I would be joining as a member, and that was it. I was just going to reap the rewards as a member. And then when I joined leadership with secretary, I think I'm an organized person.
We were like, I'm telling you, if you ever need a secretary, this one, it was like, I turned to Annika and I was like, oh my God, like so organized, these beautiful meeting minutes and everything. Oh my God, and we were like, oh, we gotta keep her. We gotta keep her. Like, amazing. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You know, I've told you. I was like, oh my God.
So, I don't know, it's the Virgo in me, I guess, but I really love organization. So that kind of also built up my self-esteem because I was like, yes, I'm using the skills that I like. This is so much fun. And then when I was given the opportunity to become president, new skills, communication, delegating activities, and also kind of putting your ego aside, because I was like, this person does that better than I do, or I think they have the potential to do it better. So how about I just encourage them? Maybe I would like to write the newsletter. I think it would be fun, but I know Casey's great at it. So I'm like, okay. And I help, I say, or I facilitate it in a way that she can thrive in that area. So I think those have been the skills, how to be diplomatic, how to communicate with people, like instead of saying this was rubbish, it's like there's room for improvement. Or,
Right.
I see where you're going with this.
But the real Gabby's still rubbish.
Gabby. Well, there's Gabriella, and then there's Gabby apparently.
She's like, who are you now?
Gabby comes over to cocktail night. Let me tell you what I really think about you.
Her voice changes and she's like.
Oh man.
So yeah. So I think this is the wonderful thing about KOTESOL. You're thrown into deep end. There are safeguards around, but you really you have to swim.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and it also, again, it's I think you used the word safe, where it's we really just try to say, okay, here it is. What do you want to do, and we will help you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be world changing. You just have an idea.
But it might be. Yeah.
And if it is, awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but we're here to support it.
I think more times than not,
You're the
that
framework.
that is what happens. You do make a lot of unexpected connections, experiences, and you're like, shit, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah, because I don't think that if I hadn't been VP and doing the things and helping create events here, I don't think I would have been brave enough to go to my boss at my university and say, hey, I have this idea. And then literally I do everything from I design the poster for the event, I create all the language for the advertising for it, and then I'm the host of it when all the people are flooding into the bar and all that, and calling the bar and setting it up. I do all of that, and I don't think that I would have had the confidence to do it before KOTESOL.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to, but I don't think I would have had the confidence to do it.
And you have the backing. Like if you go to your director, I'm organizing this event with KOTESOL. You have that website that backs you up. It's like, oh, this is
legitimacy.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just a soju party.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not just these guys.
And we get a little
alcoholics.
money.
They want to drink with the kids.
Yeah, we get a little money from the rec people, and we're like, hey, and it's a great way also to network with the other teachers, right? Because we get some of the teachers to come out. Because the idea originally was, 2-3 students and 1 teacher per table, so it was supposed to be 20 people, and then it just got completely out of hand. Yeah. So.
That's all right.
If you had to pick one thing that you're most proud of with your time during KOTESOL, what would it be?
Probably the newsletter. Do you mean I don't know. I guess actually applying for the international conference. That was a big thing for me. Like I said, it's my first time speaking in an academic conference.
Yeah.
And so, you look at that and you see people on stage, you're like, oh, how do I could never do that. So I think that applying for it was a big deal for me. That and the newsletter. I think the 2 things I'm most proud of, I think.
2 things. The symposium. That was my first symposium, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. And it helped me connect with people. It made me realize that I really do like reaching out and connecting with people. So I was the program chair for that, and that was absolutely wonderful. And it leads on to networking. I've met so many wonderful people, and every single time I meet someone, I'm inspired to keep growing. And I think that's why I've gone up the ranks. So I'm like, oh, there's this committee, I'm going to join this committee. The international conference, oh, I'll do this as well. So I think for me is that just
Growth mindset.
Yeah.
and then this. I wouldn't have done your podcast
Oh my
otherwise.
God.
What else am I going to talk about?
You need to reach a certain
Veganism.
threshold to get on here. We don't just invite anyone.
And we're not even Canadian.
Yeah.
Right?
Just a question out of curiosity. When you do the national, international workshops, symposium, if someone was thinking of joining or doing it or want to take advantage of that opportunity, what kind of stages are they? What is the setting like? Are you presenting to 100 people, 20 people, or 1,000 people? Because I think that would also play into it a lot. I mean, if you thought you were going,
well, you're going to be on
international conference, 5,000 and 2,000 on Zoom, maybe I'll start with a little workshop or something here. What would it be like? What kind of settings are they? Are they big gymnasiums or auditoriums?
So the international conference is a big deal. It is an international conference. It's at a university in Seoul, and it's the whole campus. So it is quite a big deal. However, you get to choose if you're doing a workshop, if you're doing a presentation, a panel presentation, or a poster presentation. So that way you can choose, and it also is divided by time. So some presentations are an hour, others are half an hour, and you can present with other people. So that's is not so rigid in that
Pretty
sense.
flexible.
And then when it comes to symposium, it depends on the chapter. For example, with us, everyone presented for 50 minutes and is a little bit smaller, is a bit more intimate, is a classroom rather than a hall. And then we'll go from there.
So that would be the people participating would come and watch one after another presentations.
Right.
Is that right? Or do you have to sign up for them? Or
No, you
you're-
just pick and choose or bounce around.
So there's multiple rooms going on at the same time?
You've got the program and you get to choose which one you go to.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we had that with the symposium
Yes.
as well.
So for a typical symposium or a smaller event, how many speakers would you have roughly?
It depends on the venue. For the national conference, you actually have quite a few. For the symposium that we had 9 speakers. And it was dual, so two were happening at the same time.
Cool.
And people, so for this symposium, I reached out to people. I mentioned, this is what we're doing, are you interested? And if they said no, that's absolutely fine. I'll just keep them in mind for something else. Or if they said, no, I don't have the time, I know that's the reason.
Black book.
No, that's too. To be honest, that's me.
Yeah.
I have the black book.
I've been there 9 times.
And then
Your name has been crossed out, Nate.
And then for like the workshops and events, those are again smaller. We usually have either one speaker or 2. I think there's one that you said has 3 speakers, but generally it's 1 or 2. And the audience tends to vary, but it's usually between 6 and 20 for the smaller one-off events.
So that's a good place to start then.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very good place. Yeah.
Nice.
And everyone's really kind. Like, no one's gonna boo you. No one's gonna walk out.
No one's gonna fall asleep.
You
on
suck.
Yeah, and if that ever happens, we will take care of that.
Yeah,
sure.
Like, we're never going to put you in a position where your self-esteem is going to go down
Yeah.
rather than up. At a symposium, we also had students come in.
Yeah.
So you have people who are actually like, I'm here because I really want to learn.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you say? You guys got anything else you want to?
You want to pump up the Gyeongsang Namdo Busan there? Give us some
I
tags,
wish we had like a
social
song or
media,
something.
or
Nate,
tell
Join
us
our
some
chapter.
sites, links.
Oh, yeah. We're on Instagram. And I'm going to read it because I always mess it up.
Sure.
Instagram.com/BG_KOTESOL24 /. We are on Facebook at Busan Gyeongnam group. And then we are, if you follow us on Facebook, you'll also get our newsletter because that's a non-membership offering. So which is great. So then you can also see our calendar, what we're doing, what we did
Where do you go to follow that?
on Facebook. Our Facebook.
Follow the Facebook page, you
Yeah.
get the newsletter?
Yeah, I post the newsletter.
And you can join the Facebook group without membership?
Yes.
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 So our social media is free
Yeah.
and accessible to everybody. If you do want to just message us directly, it's bg@KOTESOL. No, bgkotesol@gmail.com.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we'll put all those in the notes.
Yes.
and,
And so our
watch for the spike next
calendar-
Yay!
So upcoming-
If we do get more members,
Is
you
there a
are-
commission?
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
not
Tell them
commission.
you sent it out. Yeah.
Can we give them
I think
This
Nate
Korean
is-
Life 10% discount?
Yeah. Why not?
Maybe we'll give you some pens and magnets.
Yeah. We'll give you some magnets.
You guys actually sponsored us for the symposium last year, and we're very thankful for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
You mentioned us, and we featured you in our program, so thank you so much for that as well.
Cross collaboration.
Yes.
Connection.
And so-
Oh, that's right. Ah, we did do that. I do.
Like what?
No, I don't know. I was thinking like, was that through WeHope or was that through this? Ah, okay. Oh, we did. I remember. Yeah. That was with Olia Molia. Through Olia. I
That
think.
came
Yeah.
from her,
From her. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, I remember.
originally.
So on
Fair
March
enough.
22nd, we have the DPI launch. I never say the university correctly. Where is it?
Young Sam.
Thank you. Yongsan University in Busan. Myself and Lowell Sandberg and Gabriella will be presenting. And then we also have a wellness event that Gabriella's leading on the 12th
Via
of
Zoom.
this month. But we really encourage people to follow us on social media because we're always posting our new events as well as the newsletter. And just check us out. Again, we are very flexible about non-members dipping a toe in to check out what we're doing and then hopefully joining. And we're the fun chapter. Put
We're
that out there.
Busan, beach mountains.
That's right.
I like it.
I think you get that vibe from listening today. That
Yes.
Had some good time.
Awesome. Guys, great job. There's I love that you guys have jumped in with both feet and you continue to promote it and put all the effort in. It's awesome to have the rocks in the community, the anchors there that keep it going for people
you
who
so
want to join.
much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Keep up the hard work.
And thank you for the insight because I think for whatever this mystery reason is, a lot of people don't know or are misinformed and don't have anything other than just what they heard bypassing from somebody else in the community. So
Is that the same
even
level?
for me, I mean, I learned lots from it. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the
appreciated.
invitation.
All right, let's turn it off here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, I thought you were